So obviously, it's probably not a good area for you to spend your dietary dollar, right? If your body feedback is suggesting to you that it becomes weaker in the presence of a food, or in this case, in the presence of an energy of the food, okay? So the scores follow pretty much the same principles as you've learned from before. All right, let's take a look at our notes here. And so basically what you're going to be doing is going through these 12 food groups and testing these foods, but not necessarily limited to these foods. Of course, there are other foods in your pantry that you may test okay for, okay? This is just a really good starting point because this is such a good compilation for you to determine which foods are going to be best for you. And so as you go down this list and you test maybe 3 or 4 groups in one session, and then in your second session you test 3 or 4 more food groups, and then you finally get down to the drinks and the herbal teas and the condiments, and you can become pretty detailed as far as which groups you want to test in. So you come to your own conclusion as far as which groups you actually want to test on. Then once you get all of these groups tested, then go back in your book and start writing what we call a grocery wish list from the foods, and focus first on the foods with the highest scores, because these are your real power foods, okay? And so the ones that gave you the highest scores, be sure to put these up at the top of your list and then go down from there. And it's also a good idea to put this list, when you're done with it, in a plastic protector sheet so that you can haul it along to the food stores with you, just like you would a grocery list, and start including some of those great foods for you in your shopping cart, right? And one other thing, what was it? Oh yes, if you make this wish list on the computer, then an additional benefit to that is, with many popular programs, you can set it up with, you know, column A, column B, column C, and then you can sort it by the score. So as you type these foods in, these power foods in, and you type the scores in, and at a click of a button, your highest ones are going to be right at the top. So use that if you have the capability of doing so. Okay? All right, motoring right along here. Once you get the foods, then here are some additional testing options that can help really make it a joy for you to get your body what it is that you need. Like, for instance, if you test really well on Ezekiel bread, the question next is, hey, how much of this stuff is good for me, right? And so the answer is, I don't know. But many people have come to their own conclusions that their body knows. And so as you're starting to embrace that, what we can do is apply the muscle testing to accommodate that as well. And be sure to write these down. These are additional testing options. So go ahead and grab your paper and pen and get it ready if you don't already have it handy. And so the first thing that you can test for is you can test for your weekly consumption. Okay, and so write this down. This is a statement that you would make that is similar to the daily amount testing that you've already learned how to do. And so the statement is, my weekly consumption includes blank times per week. Okay, and then as before, you follow the principles of amount testing, where you say my weekly consumption includes 1 time per week, and then you test 2 times per week, test 3 times, test 4 times, test 5 times. You went weak, okay? That means that you've broken the straw. It's the straw that broke the camel's back, the proverbial, right? And so it follows that same principle of daily amount testing. So in addition to finding out which foods are good for you, you can also personalize it even further to find out how many portions per week is optimal for you, which of course helps in your weekly meal planning, etc., things like that. Then you can take it even further to determine what the optimal portion is for you. You know, do I need 1 piece of bread, 2 pieces of bread, etc., right? And so this is the second statement. Write it down. My optimal portion includes 1 piece, or 1 ounce, or 1 nut, or 1 spoonful, whatever the case may be. And then 2 spoonfuls, 3 spoonfuls, 4 spoonfuls. And then when you get the dip, you know you've exceeded the optimal amount. And you back off to the previous statement that tested true and strong for you, okay? All right, good. And in closing, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. This is not about being perfect. In fact, I'm going to suggest that you be far from perfect. What our philosophy here is that rather than trying to be perfect in any one area, my feeling is if 50% of the time you're hitting power foods that are good for you, then that's a whole lot better than you've been doing in the past, most likely. And that has you moving in the opposite direction from where you may be making choices that may not be so beneficial for you, right? And so this is why also it's important that and in fact, we say it isn't a good idea to nutritionally supplement your food, but that it is actually, based on today's food supply and all of our conversation around that, it is imperative that we supplement our foods with good quality, preferably whole ingredient types of food supplements, and we have a complete video training on that as well. Okay, and of course, one of the other really increasingly popular aspects, simply because it works so good, is furthering our direction towards health and vitality by removing emotional traumatic experiences that in many ways limit us and have us express in different ways and that don't reflect in health and vitality. Okay, I'm kind of beating around the bush here, but you get my point. And it's still a couple of hours before our company opens up, so I'm going to let that phone call coming in to me go. And I hope you leave a message, whoever you are. And so having said that, this is James Stevens at the JSI Institute with the JET Technique for Kinesiology, loving and in gratitude for being able to share this important information with you. And I hope you take it and make it a great day with it, okay? Take care.